What if I told you that a single prick could alter the course of your entire career? Surgeons work at the edge of risk every single day, but with the right precautions, you can protect yourself and your patients. Are you prepared? Hello, I am Dr. Qazi Arifuddin, a surgeon, medical educator, and your guide through the challenges and triumphs of surgery. Today, we are going into one of the most critical and life-saving topic for any surgeon: universal precaution. If you are an MBBS student, young doctor, or surgery resident, this is your ultimate guide on how to stay safe in the OT while mastering your craft. Let's begin. Patients may present to surgeon for operative treatment if they have a surgical disease and they are known to be infected or at risk, or because they need surgical intervention related to their illness for vascular access, or a biopsy when they are known to have hepatitis, HIV infection, or AIDS. Particular care should be taken when there is a risk of splashing aerosol formation, particularly with power tools. First of all, why universal precaution are non-negotiable? A young surgeon fresh into the residency accidentally gets a needle prick while closing an incision. The patient has undiagnosed infectious disease. The next few weeks, a nightmare of tests, anxiety, and occupational health consultation. This scenario is more common than you think, but completely preventable with universal precautions. Needle stick injuries are the most common during surgery and pose the highest risk of viral transmission. The risk of HIV transmission from a needle prick is 0.03%, but why take any risk at all? The core principle of universal precautions, especially prevention from HIV infections. Universal precautions were introduced by Center of Disease Control, that is CDC, in 1985, mostly in response to the human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV epidemic. Universal precautions are a standard set of guidelines to prevent the transmission of blood-borne pathogens from exposure to blood and other potentially infectious material, that is OPIM. The standard precautions apply to care of all patients irrespective of their disease state. These precautions apply when there is a risk of potential exposure to blood, all body fluids, secretions, excretion, except sweat, regardless of whether or not they contain visible blood. These includes hand hygiene and personal protective equipment, that is PPE, with hand hygiene being the single most important means to prevent transmission of disease. Personal protection equipment serves as a barrier to protect the skin, mucous membrane, airway, and clothing. Now coming to the hand hygiene. Hand washing with soap and water for at least 40 to 60 seconds. Hand rubbing with alcohol applied generously to cover hands completely should be performed, and hands rubbed until dry. Now, what are the hand hygiene indications? Before and after any direct patient contact and in between patients, whether or not gloves are worn. Immediately after the gloves are removed, before handling an invasive device, after touching blood, body fluid, secretions, excretions, non-intact skin, and contaminated items, even when gloves are worn. During patient care, when moving from a contaminated to a clean body side, the patient after contact with inanimate object in the immediate vicinity of the patient. Now coming to the gloves. Gloves must be worn when touching blood, body fluids, secretion, excretion, mucous membrane, or non-intact skin. Change when there is in contact with potentially infected material in same patient to avoid cross contamination. Remove the gloves before touching surfaces and clean items. Wearing gloves does not mitigate the need for proper hand hygiene. Now protect yourself fully. Wear double gloves. Use a larger size on the inside for comfort. Use a full face mask or protective goggles, specs to avoid splashes or aerosols, especially when using power tools. Equip yourself with waterproof gowns, drapes, and plastic aprons, particularly during the seroconversion, and boots, not clogs, to avoid injury from dropped shafts. Manage shafts safely. Pass shafts in a kidney dish, not hand to hand. Dispose the needles immediately in a shaft disposable container. Maintain theater protocols. Movement to reduce contamination risk. Slow, meticulous operative technique is needed with minimized bleeding. After contamination, needle stick injury are the commonest on the non-dominant index finger during operative surgery. Needle injury carries the greatest risk of viral transmission. Now, what are the post-incident protocols? Accidental puncture, wash the area immediately with soap and running water. Report the incident and seek occupational health advice. Local policies dictate whether the post-exposure antiviral treatment should be given or not. Occupational health advice is required after health risk exposure together with the need for hepatitis, HIV testing, and the option for continuation in non-operative specialty. All cuts and abrasion in an HIV patient should be covered with a waterproof dressing. Minimum parenteral injection, contaminated gloves, cotton should be incinerated. Equipment should be disinfected with glutaraldehyde. Disposable equipment, drapes, scalpel, etc. should be used whenever possible. Walls and floors should be cleaned properly with the soap water. Suction bottle should be half filled with freshly prepared glutaraldehyde solution. Spilled body fluids should be diluted with glutaraldehyde. Theatre should be fumigated after surgery to HIV patients. Remember, isolation per se of HIV patient is not required. Proper care should be taken to prevent transmission of the virus. Open wounds, disposal of excreta, fluids, discharge, pus, and other infective materials should be taken care of properly. Did you know that HIV can be transmitted through your eyes? That's why proper specs or goggles are not optional. They are life-saving. Practical tips for managing HIV patients in the surgery. Use disposable equipments like drapes and scalpels. Equipments and the area which are contaminated with secretion should be wiped with sodium hypochlorite solution or 2% glutaraldehyde. Fumigate the theater post-surgery. Ensure all team members wear appropriate PPE, including double gloves and overshoes. Surgeons' role in the safety and success. As surgeons, we are not just saving lives, we are protecting our own. Mastering these precautions is not just about avoiding infections, it's about ensuring that you can continue to serve as a healer, mentor, and leader in your field. Think about the impact you can create when you are confident, skilled, and protected. This is how you go from a cautious beginner to a respected expert. Now, here are some of the questions. What's the best way to prevent needle stick injury? Use slow, meticulous technique and pass the sharps in a kidney dish. What should you do after accidental contamination? Wash the area with soap and water, report the incident, and follow your institution's post-exposure protocols. Are universal precautions only for high-risk patients? No. Treat every patient as potentially infectious. This is the essence of universal precaution. If this video helped you, make sure to like and share it with your peers. It could save their careers too. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical surgical tips and case studies that will help you ace your residency and beyond.